This episode of the Young Turks brought to you by Squarespace. Use TYT promo code to sign up at squarespace.com.
The BBC did this really incredible story about something known as alien hand syndrome, okay? So what they did is they interviewed a woman in New Jersey. She's a 55-year-old who has this syndrome. And she basically developed alien hand syndrome after she had surgery for epilepsy.
Right.
Okay. So when she had that surgery, doctors cut her.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
What? Sorry. Oh, Jesus.
So Ben is demonstrating alien hand syndrome.
Wow.
Or maybe you just maybe you should slap a little harder. I don't know if that was hard enough.
Do you see? Look at this. I mean, that's red, right? I could slap myself.
Really? Do it again. Oh my God, I can't believe you listened to me. So alien hand syndrome is when you don't have control over your hand. It literally has a life of its own. So I'm going to explain how people develop that. But first, we have a video of this woman in New Jersey. Her name is Karen Byrne. Let's watch.
A left hand that had a mind of its own.
What's going on? Tell us what's going on.
An extremely rare condition known as alien hand syndrome.
This is it. This is when that's what happens. See, it smacks you, when it hits you.
You look almost possessed there, I have to say.
Yep. Basically, that's how you do that. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Take your pinky and touch your
Do you find it disturbing? I mean, I find it disturbing.
For myself, no, but for other people around me, I do, because I think it's very frightening for them.
I'm trying to get
Unbelievably strange.
That's what happens. And it smacks you so badly. My whole face was so swollen, so black and blue.
She was eventually discharged from hospital, but she had to live with a wayward, willful hand.
I'm so glad I slapped myself before seeing the story, because now it's incredibly depressing.
It is incredibly depressing.
Like before, it's called alien hand syndrome, and it's funny.
Right.
Now it's like this giant downer.
Right. And look, she had surgery, not surgery, but doctors did find medication that basically helps to treat the problem. It doesn't cure it, but, you know, at least she has some sort of treatment at this point, right? But, wow, your face is bright red. Okay. The side of Ben's face is bright.
I've always had the ability to hit myself really hard. Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's one of my great strengths.
All right.
When I was a kid, I wanted to feel like I had earned sleep. This is so psychological. It's so awful. And I would hit my leg really hard, give myself a really bad Charlie horse, so I would limp and feel like I had earned sleeping, like I'd been in the war. How bad is that?
That's a little crazy.
It's totally crazy. So I'd like be an 8-year-old and be like,
oh my God.
yeah, and then I'd be like, oh, I'm wounded.
Let's see your face.
Yeah, his face is bright red.
Yeah, I hit myself really hard 3 times.
Yeah, I hit myself really hard 3 times.
They don't do that on the Shalom show.
They don't. Usually this happens to people who have had brain surgery for epilepsy, right? And what happens is doctors cut the band of nervous fibers that keep the 2 halves of the brain.
We're still talking about alien hand syndrome? My God.
Well, I told them I would explain why it happens.
Sorry.
It's interesting and relevant. So doctors cut the band of fibers that keep the 2 halves of the brain basically in constant contact with one another, right? So people don't know this, but both halves of your brain need to communicate, right? If they don't, each side has a life of its own. And the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body.
Right.
So she didn't have control over her left arm or her right leg.
It's funny, we think of like if one side doesn't work, then the other side would be paralyzed, and this is another symptom of that, which is uncontrolled movement.
Exactly.
Wow. That's terrible. It looked horrible.
It does look horrible, but thankfully she has medication to help treat the problem. And for the longest time she didn't, because she had that surgery for epilepsy when she was 27 years old. She's now 55.
If you want to build a website or a blog, where do you go? You go to squarespace.com. They've actually built some of the largest websites in the world.
With Squarespace, you don't need any coding experience, and the best part is you can even edit your website on your iPhone.
They give you 24/7 support. You can do full HTML blog editing. I don't know what that means, but they do. They'll help you with it. And if you go to squarespace.com and you enter the promo code TYT, you get 10% off the life of your order. Forward.